Today we're going to talk about solving rational equations in the proportion format. This is when we have a fraction equal to a fraction. This is going to seem very familiar, and this is the one opportunity where we do get to cross multiply. If we have a plus or minus sign, make sure that we don't try to do this. This is only when it's set up like a proportion. So let's take a look at this first example. Technically, this is not a rational expression because a rational expression has a variable in the denominator. And one thing we need to keep in mind with rational expressions is excluded values. This one, like I said, is not a rational expression. Therefore, it does not have the excluded values. But we're going to talk about the principles of what we're going to do, which is a cross multiplication. Save yourself some mistakes and put these binomials in parentheses. Keep you from making a few mistakes. So in this case, we would have 9 times x minus 6 equal to 4 times x minus 5. So we are going to distribute in. Now it's just a linear equation, by the way. We distribute in here, and this would be 9x minus 54 equal to 4x minus 20. We then solve for x. We're going to move the 4x over to join the 9x, making 5x. And we will move the 54 over to the negative 54 over to the negative 20. So that would be a positive 34. And then the last thing we need to do is to get x by itself, we need to divide both sides by 5. So in this case, we end up with a fractional answer of 34 fifths. All right, on this one, what we're going to want to do as well is put our terms in parentheses, our binomials. And since it is in a proportion mode, we will still cross multiply these. So we will multiply our x minus 6 times the x, which gives us x squared minus 6x. You can do the distribution just like I did as we move or afterwards, and then we are going to multiply here. This would give me 8 times x is 8x. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. Now, before I go any further, I want to stop actually and make sure that I establish my excluded values. I've got to make sure that this parentheses does not become 0. And the way that that would happen is if x were equal to 3. And then this one would be x not equal to 0. So if one of our answers comes out to either of those, we will just reject that answer. Now this ends up being a quadratic equation, and on a quadratic equation we want everything to be on one side. So I'm going to move the 8x over and the 24, and it would look like this, and I would have x squared minus 14x plus 24 equals 0. Now if it doesn't factor, remember we can use the quadratic formula. But in this case, we do have factors of 24 that can become negative 14. That would be x minus 12 and x minus 2. Since both of these are set equal to 0, my solutions need to be set equal to 0. And I'm okay with you skipping the step of showing this work because this is pretty self-explanatory. My solutions would be x equal to 12 and x equal to 2. Neither of those answers fall into our excluded values, so those answers are good.